Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Terminus podcast for the weeks of June 14th, 2014. I, as always, am your host, Ellis D'Amelio. With me, I have Brett Weibold, TJ,
Hello.
and Milky.
Hey.
And with us, our special guest is O'Gillies.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, indeed. Just remember, the train will terminate at this station.
No, Railfanning, huh?
Well, this week, Weibold,
What?
where are we paying a visit to this week?
Oh, yes. This week we're trying something new with, instead of staring at a blank and lifeless picture of Grand Central Station, we are paying a visit to Roanoke, Virginia to watch some activity on the Norfolk Southern main lines through Roanoke. We'll be doing this on a weekly basis. We'll be checking out a new rail cam each week. We'll always try to get a new one, and we'll try to get an interesting one, but no promises, as it's been stated multiple times. Train news is slow.
And unfortunately, this webcam is starting to go dark. When we had it all set up, it was nice and bright out, but then all hell broke loose, and here we are.
Well, that'll be cool, because then you'll obviously know when a train's coming. So.
That's true.
That's true. Alright, well, this week for Railfanning, I am up first, as always. When we come to the end of each section, I'm going to ask our guest as to what his notes are on this week, because he didn't get to write in the doc. So, for this week, I actually I went down to Providence Station twice, just at random, killing time, as I do. Caught an MBTA train, F40PH, love the F40s, and that was on the platform for tracks 3 and 5.
Platform 9 3/4.
No, just the second platform for tracks 3 and 5, as opposed to tracks 1 and 2.
Okay.
And then, just right as the train was pulling away, somebody walked down onto the platform I was standing on, which was platform 1 for tracks 1 and 2. Just kind of looking at his watch and pacing around, and I wanted to ask him, like, was that your train? Like, did you just miss your train? But I don't know.
Oh.
But the next time I went down there later in the week, and was talking to a work crew, because they were replacing one of the giant segments of rail, and all the rubber fish plates under it. And I caught an Acela coming in, and then I saw one of the regionals with an AEM7 on it. I was hoping to see a City Sprinter, but didn't get to.
The sprinters seem to be evading you two quite well.
They are elusive.
Yeah.
Mostly because we're not Person X and we don't pay astute attention.
Be very quiet. We're hunting the sprinter.
We don't, obsess over Amtrak and where all the trains are all the time.
Foamer.
Who you calling Foamer?
Person X, will we get to hear more about Person X later in the episode?
I'm sure.
I'm
Excellent.
sure we will.
Yeah.
Just real quick question for Ellis. What is the deal with
Airline
you
food?
and F40s? You like F40s so much.
I like F40s.
Why?
I don't know why.
Yeah,
Fair
40s
enough.
They're cool looking, and
Just wanted to
and
know if
also
there was
they
a
had
specific
that
reason.
they're all over the place, and they get painted funny stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the,
that's true.
the Kool-Aid
They're
train.
like all the billboard engines.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're old and they're starting to become clapped out. People can get them for cheap.
Yeah, there are like 3 of them on.
We'll have to give a shout out to Ozark, whatever it is.
I was about
later.
to say Ozark. There are like 3 of them for sale in Ozark Mountain Rail Car.
Yeah, we'll have to get a shout out to that later.
Actually, 3.5.
But for now, my rail fanning, I, as usual, did very, very little rail fanning.
I did put down the one important thing for you, though.
Oh, okay, thank you. I did, however, go north into downtown Denver over these past 2 weeks for a swim meet, and I managed to catch a Canadian Pacific SD70 in Denver. Can't say that I've ever seen a Canadian Pacific locomotive. It was, I can't say,
They're pretty far.
I didn't know that they ran this.
They're pretty far away from home.
No,
Yeah,
thank
seriously.
you.
They've got to,
Actually,
he's going to need to hook onto a sprinter in order to get back home.
They must have
in time
wanted
for
some
dinner.
Rocky Mountain oysters.
I'll have dinner.
They're Canadian. They're certainly crazy enough for it.
There go all of our
we
Canadian
actually-
listeners.
Yep.
Is it
And
national?
wait, is that twice now? Yes,
Probably.
it's twice.
West and South.
And I also saw a mysterious locomotive that I will have more updates later when I went to a live Steam meet, which again I'll talk about later in the podcast. Mysterious locomotive, it appeared to be an SD40 painted in a red scheme. I couldn't see if it was Canadian Pacific or not, but it was just red, and I couldn't see any markings on it from my vantage point. There was an auto
It
rack
was
in front of
Soviet Russia.
it. It was a Russian locomotive.
Exactly.
It was Ruski
Did it have
locomotive
tiny
with
wheels?
power to straighten curve.
The first thing that popped in my head when you said red locomotive was like Utah Northern, and then I was like, well, the only two locomotives they have are two GB15-1s.
Hmm.
So
Ooh, diesel
Well,
man.
Well, there's one that's like I can never remember the name of it. It's like a class 3 that runs in southern Colorado mainly, and also western, some parts of central, like through Grand Junction. And I can never remember the name of it, but there was an MSTS route made after it, and they covered it in At the Rail Yard, and that's the only reason I know about it, honestly. It's like Utah and Colbelt or something, and their locomotives, I recall, were red. So it might have been one of those, as it was in like an industrial yard, but I don't know, there's a mystery business, come to think of it. It takes in, from time to time when I go through, it's not a yard. It is like a private business that's taking in goods. I've seen it unloading covered hoppers, coal hoppers, box cars, auto racks, flat cars of machinery. It takes in like everything under the sun. Tank cars.
It
It just-
doesn't output anything.
I don't know what it outputs. That's what I'm wondering. It intakes everything, but I never have seen what it outputs. So I don't know, TJ.
wait, can I have a
It's-
quick
it's-
comment on
Oh,
Wise?
yeah, sure. Sorry, Ogelis.
TJ, why are
So
you on the
my-
dock?
Like, we have here in
I'm
Ogden,
going.
we have like industrial areas galore by the railroad tracks, and a lot of them have rail connections. And you'll see a lot of cars, like GP15 switchers, which are we have two of them stationed here, and they'll bring cars in, and then they'll take cars out, but they're the same cars that they took in. So a lot of the time, the way that they do that is because they just they out whatever it is, they out something. They ship out their products by truck. That's generally why you see the same things coming in as
Also,
coming
coming
in.
to think of it, it could be an XSU unit.
That's also
Line.
Sue is weird.
Burling. Sue is weird.
I don't know much
I
about
prefer-
Sue.
Did you hear that they lost their management deal over a lawsuit?
No.
Don't make fun of Sue
But,
like that. She's an emotional person.
Okay, nobody caught that joke. Moving
Yeah,
on.
I sort of caught it. If it was a bad
I did.
pun, that's one strike for you.
Okay, then we're up to one so far.
Alright, so TJ and Ogilis. Ogilis, you should be on the dock as well.
yes, I am.
Oh, I can't see you because...
I'm on the dock. Anyway,
Morgan Freeman.
Well, I'm
So-
looking at my own doc right now, but I can still see what I have to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
so
TJ.
a couple of days ago, Julius and I were we were at a Skype call and we were looking at
The Cumbraes and Toltec.
we were looking at
webcam.
Cumbraes and Toltec.
Well,
We had
and-
like both of them playing, so
Yeah.
we could see both ends.
But so we saw the train that had just pulled in. We saw the engine doing
Yard.
a couple yards.
We saw the
switching
engine, and
through.
it was parked out in the main yard, and it backed up, switched onto the yard main
the
or
steam
whatever.
track or something. Like the
You know, the track with like the water tower, the yard.
The runaround track.
It
Yeah.
switched. What?
the soundtrack.
Was it running around?
It kind of, so to speak, yes, and then it like
Oh no, is
went
your
up
locomotive running?
the yard main. It stopped at the water tower, filled up, and then parked in the shed. Yeah.
it parked at the switch right before the shed. It
Well,
didn't
yeah.
park in the shed.
That's generally what they do to dump the. Actually, I don't know if they dump the fires. It
I-
They do,
Yep.
I think.
They do sometimes, of course, because, obviously. But like on the Durango and Silverton, they literally hire people to sit in the roundhouse and keep the engines under steam overnight. so that they don't have to bother with getting it stoked back up in the morning.
They do that at Strasbourg.
That sounds
too.
incredibly lazy, but genius.
It does sound incredibly lazy, and it is it's weird to think that the locomotives, they're not constantly running, but they're not
There's
dormant.
always like embers.
As soon as they're fired up, they're inoperable condition for about a week, and then they're, the fires are dumped and they're given a thorough cleaning.
Well, see,
Well, that's because they
The
have like
thing is-
9 engines.
at
7.
At Strasbourg, they have 475 and 90 and 89 in a roundhouse,
The old
And,
97.
and in the engine house.
Oh, 97.
And so what they do is they leave them steamed up, and then they have someone that sits in there keeping them going all night. But see,
Swag.
the thing is, they steam up 89 every morning because it's such a small engine. But 475 and 90 are always steamed up, no matter what, because they're.
Do they clean
One-
them every week?
I think they do.
It's
not
like
sure.
The Durango, they only need 4 engines, maybe 5 a day, because they only have 4 running excursions. And again, they have 6 operable locomotives, like in roundhouse ready condition. You just need to fire them up.
Yeah.
So they kind of put them on rotations, I believe. Like when we went to Durango last time for a few days, we had locomotive number 486, which is my personal favorite locomotive in the world, which I was very happy about this. All 3 days it was running. When we came into town on the evening of the first day, it was running back into town. When we took the train the next day, it pulled our train. And then the day after that, when we took the train again, it was on our train.
Boom.
So
But yeah, because like,
Me.
Strasbourg, they have many locomotives.
Oh my.
Like they have ones that they rent out, like other engines ship to them,
Swag.
and they use them. But then they have like 4 different engines. They have like 5 different engines that they just don't show.
Hmm.
Like they have an 060 somewhere. I've never seen it before, unless it's a video from YouTube or something like 2 years ago.
deep in the bowels of the earth.
Bowels of East Strasbourg.
East Swagsburg.
Deep
Swag.
in the bowels of East Swagsburg.
I mean, like when they used 1223, if they used that in the late 80s, early 90s,
I
and
know.
now it's sitting in the Railroad Museum on display.
Same with 476, I guess. In the interest of time, though, Milky.
So I saw 9 Amtraks over the past 2 weeks. One of which had 3 private cars at the end of it.
Fancy.
And I think 3 of them had one of the newly painted superliners on it. It has it's an advertisement for San
Is that like phase
Francisco.
6 or whatever? Or is it just phase 5B?
No, it's a special paint scheme for San Francisco to promote people to travel there. It's really nice.
Actually, that makes me want to go search that up in Google.
I've inspired people. And then I saw 6 UP fates in that time. One NS on a webcam. And an Oregon Pacific pass-through train. Yes, I rode on it while I was up in Portland, doing what you could call field work for the Terminus.
Otherwise known as
Basically-
railfanning.
Yeah, basically just goofing off in our hobby.
Exactly.
And then I saw 4 Portland and Western trains.
Good for you.
Round of applause.
So I did.
Clap, 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 clap.
Wait, why are we clapping?
I don't know.
Because you did so much road
Somebody
planning and I
shouted
didn't.
round of applause, so
Oh, okay.
you can't tell, but I'm spinning in circles right now.
Lovely.
Stop changing it to Swagsburg.
So, I saw 6 trains, 2 of which I
Watch
saw
the
when I
rail
was
cam.
railfanning, and 4 of which I just ran into. I saw 4
You ran into the freight trains?
Oh god.
No, I got stopped.
That could be
And
troublesome.
survived?
I got stopped by them.
We made
Okay,
the joke
yeah.
at the live Steam Club that if you have an accident on a crossing here, it's the only place in the world where the car wins.
Wow.
I saw 4 Frontrunner commuter trains, 5 Norfolk Southerns, and 1 Amtrak on a webcam. That's about it.
Does anybody have the link for that webcam, or is it in the description of Skype?
What?
No idea.
Did someone put it
The
down there?
Roanoke one, because I forgot we are all on location in our beautiful traveling hover studio on location in Roanoke.
I'm buying a drone and spying on UP.
Hey! No sequence breaking.
Why must you always do that? You did that with Conrail in an emergency. By the way, that number again is...
Gunwheel.
Hang on.
You should have had it ready if you were going to do that.
1-800-272-0911.
Alright, and that's in case you have any questions for the Terminus. Call that number.
Don't
you
mention
wanna
the
Don't mention
We've established this. Do not mention us.
If you have any questions,
Or
call
if
that number,
you-
but don't mention us.
Or if you want to contact the Golden Spike Tower through Skype, their number is 308.532.9920.
Why does the Golden Spike Tower have a Skype number? And more so,
I don't
why
know,
does
so
it
does,
post it to
so
the
does the
public?
Chama Police.
Oh, okay.
If you look on the Chama Railcam, there's like a Chama Police section and the rail and the officials
You're
section.
like, I'm watching the webcam. Some thug just ran up and stole a locomotive.
He's hitting the woods.
I think he's running to Mexico.
On that bombshell, you found out.
He just hopped the
Right.
border. He's
Oh,
going
no.
for Chama.
He just hopped the border into Colorado. Oh wait, then our jurisdiction's up. Here, call the Alamosa Police. Alamosa Police Department.
Okay, guys.
You have one
Stop.
We
shot.
went from Mexico to Chama.
Now, they're moving on to assigned jurisdictions.
Yes.
Not much been going on in my neck of the woods, of course.
Shut up, Ellis.
Despite-
I know you typed LOL broad gauge.
Sorry,
knew
we'll
you
get
did that.
we'll get to
I
that.
knew it.
We'll get to that. Nick, stop.
What am I doing?
Not you, other Nick.
We have 2 Nicks.
In regards to what's been going on, the least important of the 2 things that I have is the T1 plate was machined at Strasbourg and painted. So
Wait, they didn't have it completed before? I thought that they actually had it done.
they had all the metal work done. Now it's
So now
painted.
it's- Great.
So also
Great job.
this thing got funded 242% of its original goal. So
Jeez.
so if that is
Are
any
you guys watching the first Railcam or number 2?
if that's any first one. If that's any
Don't they take-
indication of how the rest of this project is going to go, that's awesome.
They're going to have to take the extra 142% and use it to pay taxes, dowries, other
Everything.
stuff that the government does.
And bribes to CSX to let it actually run the thing.
Yeah. They need to use some of the money to beat the Mallard. I'm tired of the British holding the world
Yeah, that's
steam
true.
record.
Well,
we had the potential
These guys
to
are
beat
going to
it.
go like 140 miles an hour.
I wish.
I mean, they're going to need they're going to need new valves after that, but they're going to go 140 miles an hour.
They're gonna need.
What-
They're gonna
what are
need
they,
to
a T1?
completely disassemble and reassemble the locomotive after that, but they will beat the speed record.
They'll blow it out.
Yes, can I have the dollar,
Train.
please?
Tired of Mallard holding the speed record. I don't want to be beaten by
thought
a
you
duck.
liked the British.
That's just foul.
Okay, that's 2.
Kicked.
That's 2. Okay.
All right, and the other thing was one of the cog engines. Let me check which one it was.
Steam?
One of the steam engines on the Mount Washington cog. The number 8, the Moosilauke, and coach number 5 were brought to the neighboring.
Get this Russian engine.
No, were brought to the neighboring town of Twin Mountain and placed at the intersection of 2 major highways, so that people can look at it as they drive by.
Why? Why did they get rid of it?
Because they have a bunch of them and they can use the biodiesels anyways to supplement.
Was it not operational?
No.
They all were
Can I
operational.
buy it? Can I buy it?
Why would they?
What?
Why would they move a fully capable steam locomotive off-site?
Because they already have like 8 of them.
Yeah.
Can I
Still,
buy it?
Still,
what is it going to do out there? Why is it? If you have one that's junk, move it out there.
but they don't keep ones that are junk. They're donating this one to be on display.
Oh,
No.
It went my
Can't say I
trash.
understand that one.
They donated it to be on display because if not, it would just sit in their engine house.
Can I
See,
tell
because-
my cog story?
In a minute. Why, Bolt? What were you saying?
Out west, we do the exact opposite. Instead of donating fully operational engines, in the case of the Cumbraes and Toltec, we hoard engines that are complete junk.
Good job,
Yeah.
Well,
And I'm sorry I just called the 483 junk. They have neglected it too long, and I am rather sore at them for such.
Come on.
I'm sorry,
he's a mad bro. All right, TJ, what your cog story with person Y?
Doc.
Person, no, he can be named. He's
Person
not
X.
bad.
Wait,
He
is
just
this a
doesn't
different
understand
person?
This is a different
Yes.
idiot.
Oh, wow.
He's not an idiot.
I
He's
love
just
how
not
our designation of person and then letter means just idiot.
Yeah.
No, his name's Matt. He goes to my school. I've been friends with him for a while. He's just
Really?
not a trained person.
Oh.
You want out?
Really? What's the point of using like complicated not anagrams, code names and stuff if you're just gonna say, "Oh yeah, this is his name and he's an idiot."
Ellis.
I didn't say that, and I never said we had to use a code name.
Idiot.
Anyway,
I hate slutty guts.
Oh, there goes Wobble's microphone again. All right, TJ, continue.
All right, so
I'm sorry that
So
my
he-
microphone's going bonkers. I'm trying to fix it. I'm making toast.
he went to he walks and runs and stuff. So he went to climb Mount Washington with his uncle or dad or something.
Yeah.
And he comes back a couple days ago. And goes, "Oh, TJ, I climbed Mount. When I was climbing Mount Washington, I saw the cog." And I go, "Oh, really? Did you see a train?" He goes, "Yeah, it was going up while I was there." And I go, "Oh, cool. Is it steam or diesel?" He goes, I don't know." And I go, "Did it have a lot of smoke coming out of it?" And he goes, I don't know." He goes, "I took pictures." I go, "All right, can you show me sometime?" He goes, "Oh, they were on my phone."
He shows you the picture. It's literally just a cog sitting on the ground. It's just a big sprocket.
It was rolling uphill.
Ellis.
Oh, it's just a track.
It runs on pure communism.
Okay.
But-
What?
But see, this is the same person that says O gauge is narrow gauge and narrow gauge is O scale. So
Oh my.
Yeah, okay, well, let's move on to people who know anything about trains. Now, Leibold, who was complaining that he doesn't have anything to talk about.
Yes. Okay, so Denver International Airport will soon be acquiring a new transit system to get from anybody that hasn't been to Denver before. The airport is miles away from the city, like it's an hour drive to get from the airport into the city.
good idea.
So they have. Well, it's good. It's good because we don't have planes flying overhead. It's out in the middle of nowhere.
I neighbor...
Well, at least you don't have like a plane shaking a big, huge office building.
TJ,
Yeah, exactly.
TJ and I live next to an airport, basically. So.
Oh wow, great job.
Like anywhere in Warwick you live is next to an airport. Ellis.
Actually, anywhere in
Or
Rhode Island,
Texas.
really. It's that small.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised you have room to have planes taxi, and you don't have to like buy runway space from Connecticut.
Oh, they are. They are still buying runway space.
Yeah, but
I
not
see.
from Connecticut.
Well, no,
Oh, from Delaware.
Delaware. They just jump. Like the planes just kind of like roll on the grass
Yes.
until they get to Delaware, and it's like, oh, all right, we can take off now. We're in Delaware.
Yep.
Anyway,
Rookie,
so
don't do what I
those
think
of
you're
you who
about
want
to
to go
do.
to Baltimore, sorry, you're out of luck.
I don't want to go to Baltimore. Baltimore sucks.
Oh, there goes everyone from Baltimore.
Bye, Maryland.
so much that my dad calls it Crackamore.
Oh god.
And they have the
Crackamore?
Ravens, which I hate the Ravens with a passion.
What about
It
the
went
Orioles?
backwards.
The Orioles I don't mind so much. The Ravens I hate.
Alright,
Right.
moving on, back to the train talk from the sports
Yes,
talk.
that's football's for another day. So Denver International Airport is getting a railroad system to connect the airport and downtown Denver. It's actually a town slightly south of Denver. It's called Arapahoe, Ellis. Arapahoe. Ellis pronounced it. Well, why don't you just say how you pronounce that?
Arapahoe.
Arapahoe in a body bag
It's-
because I killed her.
It's pronounced Arapahoe, like the Arapaho Indians. But basically, this train it's a broad gauge train, which I'll get to why that's odd in a second.
Lol.
You know, other than the obvious. It's a broad gauge passenger train that will go from Arapahoe straight to Denver International Airport, where you can interchange and get on a plane.
You know what would be
Now-
weirder?
What?
If it was steam powered.
What
That wouldn't
was-
be weirder, it would just be better.
Yes,
Yeah,
it would.
yeah.
Not for efficiency terms, really.
Hashtag
Who
Steam
cares?
Takeover.
But some of the flaws that we found with this system are, well, one, it's a broad gauge train. It won't run on any other tracks. And we have a company already that does light rail stuff, which is already narrow gauge, by the way.
Because Colorado.
They didn't want the contract, so now we have 3 different gauges running in and out of Denver, just all over the place.
Because why not?
3 different gauges, 3 different types of trains owned by like 5 different companies. It's just great. And the other issue with it is it's easier to drive to the airport than it is like if you lived in the tech center, which is south of Denver. It's almost like our
It's your tech center.
Cupertino. Yes, it's like our big technology place for Denver. You
It's
get
the
on the
tech
light
place.
rail at the tech center, go north into Denver, then board the broad gauge thing and go to DIA. It takes twice as long to do that than just drive a car there. And we were thinking, well, if they had like airport security at the train station and you just could get everything checked at the train and you didn't have to bother with it at the airport, that would be good. But it literally is just a train that gets you there in half the time, or in
twice the time.
twice the time that a car could get you there. So its point seems to be a little bit voided. Honestly, I think it's kind of a job.
The 20th century in a nutshell.
The 20th, what, a jobs program, or
There goes all the 20th century viewers.
technically Ellis and I are 20th century viewer and Melky.
Also,
Technically,
because
I
this
am
is
too.
broadcasting into the past.
Of course
yeah.
it is. Eat your heart out, Howard
The
Hughes.
19th Century
I'm
Limited.
well been.
Oh, I have to tell
Oh,
that
19th
story.
Yeah, you haven't
dear.
told
Oh,
that story.
Ellis, can I have the ability to edit the top of this?
No.
Just for this?
No. Alright, but TJ, I'm going to go back to making toast.
Oh crap, it's me.
Yes.
Dun dun
Yes,
dun.
it is
Back
you.
to the
Yes,
job.
thank you. That's why I said your name.
I was like, I don't care. Oh
Zach,
yeah. Okay, so I don't care. So I have a new assigned jurisdiction called Cass Scenic Railroad. And if you don't know what that is, it's a
The link will
historic-
be down in the link dump. You don't need to
Yeah, the
explain
link's gonna be in the description. Read it for yourself. I'm a lazy bum.
In the description below.
Anyway, a couple weeks ago, they had their Railfan specials. They ran freight with Shays. They ran freight with Heislers. They ran a triple header up the mountain, and they did some photo run-bys and stuff. And I saw some videos on YouTube.
With
I thought it was
Shays.
pretty cool.
with Chase.
Yeah,
They ran
So,
it
like-
with shades.
It was more
so
of
like
a walk
2
by.
mile an hour run-by, pretty much.
Walk
just so you
by.
A walk-by. A walk-by in slow motion.
Okay, so continue.
So anyway, so that was pretty cool. If you haven't seen it, look up Cass Scenic Railroad Railfan Special 2014. There should be a 3-part video. I'm not really sure who made it, but it's actually really cool. If you like really, really slow trains and steam.
Swag.
But back at Swagsburg down
Yeah,
in
this is what Google says about Cass Scenic Railroad. It says Cass Scenic Railroad State
Shut
Park
up.
is a state located.
anyway. So
Continue.
okay.
Swagsburg.
So back at Swagsburg, nothing's really going on. And Weibel, did you skip the? I think you went to current events. I think you.
He was
skipped-
just reorganizing. Just continue.
Okay, so yeah, nothing's really going on at Swagsburg. Wine and cheese train, great train robbery. back to a regular season summer schedule. That's about it.
I'm filming.
Alright, so
Take it away, Milky.
Oh,
Like right now.
so Oregon Rail Heritage sent to
Yeah.
4449 X about you yapped until it's finished. Or
Yes, I am.
Screw that, it's gonna be done this September, from what I heard. It's anticipated to be done before next year's Holiday Express.
well, that's good.
That's
So,
short.
and XPNet 700 is getting some boiler rebuilds before it does its trip out to Pendleton, Oregon in September.
Oh,
Which
why?
I will probably be Railfanning.
Something just went by
Yeah.
on the rail camp, but I think it was just 3 engines and that's it.
There's cars
What?
that go by on that rail cam.
It's like a
Yeah.
deadhead.
And
Maybe it's a hump yard.
there's
Dang.
gonna
Say it.
be
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
there's 3 engines.
Too bad we can't use a Chesterton,
There goes the
Indiana
Hollywood
cam, 'cause that one's
train.
pretty. It has more action on it, but
Well, this one had loads of action until we actually sat down to record.
Yeah.
Alright,
But the thing is, with the Chester thing, you have to refresh it every couple of minutes, and there's ads.
Isn't it funny how that works?
And for the Oregon, the ONM 190, they're anticipating it to be done within 2 years.
Is that the
It's a
is that the
Pacific.
Atlantic that they have with the daylight?
No, they don't.
What is it?
They don't. It's the Pacific.
Oh.
The other ocean.
And UP Steam.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Stuff was done that day to 4014. After, they're moving forward with that. After, 844. Yeah. And Channel UP. They hauled some trains.
Whoa, no way.
Yeah.
Are any of the 3 engines actually running right now?
I don't think so.
No. No, they aren't.
Oh, well, that's
Here, I
true.
have a Union Pacific app on my iPad. I want to go see.
You have a Union
I have the
Pacific
Amtrak
app.
There's an app
What
for
is
that.
What does it do?
And then the
The Amtrak app, I can at least kind of get a broad show schedules, train times, delays and stuff.
Buys tickets.
What
Things
does
that
a
you
Union
need when you're on
Pacific app
Amtrak?
do? Is it like a UPS package tracker?
No, it's a UP Steam app.
Oh, the UP Steam app. Why don't you just say that?
UP Steam app, update number 507.
Track my
That's-
All of the locomotives have not moved in months. That's it.
yeah.
Well, there was a trip today.
And Portland and Western, not much news from them.
P&W. That's
Oregon.
the other P&W.
The other white meat.
And Oregon Pacific Train Rides in Portland, Oregon. So they are pretty much, it's headed by a GMD-1, I think. Yeah, GMD-1.
Cool.
Okay, so there are no
And
Union Pacific
there's
Steam
no-
trips currently right now.
Well, that's
check.
good. That's good for your health. So yeah, so open window car, 2 cabooses, and observation.
Caboose. It's not cabooses, it's caboose.
The Beast Takeover 2014.
Indeed.
Indeed. Okay, so that's pretty much it for my jurisdictions.
Anything
In my
to contribute, Orgilies?
Not really.
Alright, well,
Except for, well, never mind. Nothing.
in which case we're moving on to the other current events. I have 3 things, one of which is a discussion topic, so I'll save it for the end of the current events. Even though we have discussed it heavily and reached a conclusion nonetheless. But,
Is that the Virginian Truckee thing?
no, the Dreyfus versus Daylight.
Oh, yes,
'Cause-
as suggested by one of our viewers.
Yes. I'll actually go back and check who it was when you guys are discussing your bits. But I
Yeah.
have 2 things today, one of which is pretty succinct, and it was a screw-up with the French train system, where they purchased a bunch of new trains, and several of them were they were all too wide to fit in some of the stations. The station platforms were too close to the tracks. France orders the wrong size trains. There'll be a link to the, they spent about $20.5 billion on these trains,
Are you serious?
and then realized they weren't thin enough.
Thin?
They weren't
Enough?
They weren't
Now they
thin
need to
enough.
spend another $3.5 million on a diet program.
Yeah, something like that. And more like another 50 million euros upgrading the 1,300 platforms to accommodate the trains.
Ellis, you told me you would see who put the thingy in. I went ahead and did it, and it was Train Lego Lover 1211.
Thank you.
What did he
Yes. He suggested our discussion topic as soon as Ellis gets through this next very funny
This is
thing.
the next thing is the suicide of Engine 26, which was a 10-wheeler on the Virginia and Truckee locomotive, or on the Virginia and Truckee Railroad.
Which
yeah,
has
yeah,
since gone out of business.
Oh yeah, long
Yes,
since.
thank you.
But May 1st,
No,
1950, they put the engine away for the night, and a few minutes later, the entire engine house was burning.
The engine knew it was about to be scrapped.
Yeah, the railroad only had at the end of the month the railroad would go out of business, so they ended up the engine knew its fate and it committed suicide.
No.
It was game over, and they knew it. So there'll be a link to the article regarding this. The picture about we should have used this picture as the background. For one of the days.
Oh yeah.
Train will terminate. Hold on, I'm gonna move the screen so the people can get a good look at this. That's the suicide of Engine 26. If you go ahead and look at the video right now.
It burns!
Deploy Death 2 and do this to it. I want to kill an SG.
Okay, so now on to our discussion topic.
Well, actually, I was gonna save that until the end of the current events.
Oh.
Just so that we know how much time we have left. So, Weibel, you already talked about yours, which was the broad
Yes,
gauge.
but can I go back to my assigned jurisdictions because I seem to have skipped over it?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
It could also be other current events.
Oh yeah, the
So my
fireworks
assigned
train.
jurisdictions, there is literally nothing going on anywhere, so that's kind of why I skipped over it. Except for the State Railroad Museum number 491 restoration is in full swing, now working on the thermic siphons in the firebox.
Words.
And the Georgetown Loop is going to run a fireworks train very quickly, which
Boom!
Totally
I'm
safe.
sure in the next broadcast will come back and I will update you on all of the news and all of the details about the forest fire that ensued. Or that will ensue.
And the
That's still
bridge
going
fire.
3 months later. Awkward
All right,
silence.
so moving on to TJ. That's why there's an awkward silence, because you're next.
Oh, I'm glad.
If you actually want to say that, I'd rather talk to you about it more before you go out and say that.
Okay. Well, just an update for Alice. He knows what I'm talking about, and whoever's looking at the chat. I started the prologue of it.
Okay, well, I'd like to take a look at it. Because
Okay.
I know you weren't around to actually read what I was putting down here, and now I realize
Prologue
that.
of
Wait,
so-
were you the one that wrote about Trainsy and Railsy, or was that...
No, that was
that was
Milky,
me.
because they live in a universe outside of the Zombie Train and Beta Rail sagas.
They have a different canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it was-
sorry
smaller
to
cannons.
spoil this, but who is what is? Sorry to sound like an idiot here, but what does autonomy mean?
autonomy. It means
Autonomy.
you can,
That's what I thought.
It means you'll be able to. Jesus Christ, you'll be able to choose what you do with that character basically on your own.
Oh, okay. So like I can have my
Autonomy.
story and yours.
Well, that's what I was figuring. In lieu of
I pictured you spelling it like OTTOGNOMY.
in lieu of you being able to have your own story, your own full story built in, I was going to give you that.
Okay.
But
But
moving
yeah, I'll talk to you more about it
Give
probably
you
tomorrow.
autonomy.
at the
Yeah.
Club.
moving on to Milky's
Bomb
jurisdiction.
stuff.
I almost just said the first thing in the list there. Derp.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that would have been very bad. Okay, fire up 6-7. They're getting the tubes out really fast.
Woohoo!
Like, it's already been 11 days since they've started restoring it. And, yeah, it's moving really fast, so it should be in service by the end of this year.
Excuse me.
And then, 197. It's supposed to be restored in 2 years. It's supposed to be. 4449. Supposed to be back by the end of the year. Hopefully it makes a fan trip down here.
And up here.
And then Clement Falls Railroad
Get up
was
in there.
accused of shooting co-worker to death. Yeah, that happened. It was on UP property, but that happened.
Wait, what happened?
Prologue.
Yeah, I missed that.
Clement Falls Railroad worker accused of shooting co-worker to death.
Oh dear.
wait, what did he do?
Yeesh.
Someone
Shot
shot
man.
someone to death.
Oh,
And then SBNS 700 is getting some boy work done to her. Well, she's getting ready for excursion in September to Pendleton for the rodeo.
well,
Rodeo.
Yeah. Man, this is actual news. Man buys a drone and plans to spy on Union Pacific for somehow.
Spy on them for what?
I don't know.
is that legal?
What does he plan to do? Why wouldn't it be legal? You can do the same with a pickup truck.
Wait, what? Oh.
We do it all the time. It's called Railfanning.
Well, frankly, I'm not sure if I told this story on the podcast before, but my robotics teacher, his friend, got blacklisted for taking pictures of trains, basically going by with a very high-powered camera. Now he basically has to get frisked at every airport he goes through until he can go through this legal thing and get the authorities off his back and prove that he wasn't doing anything malicious. Because, to be completely honest, you're not legally allowed to do that.
How come we
not legally allowed to do what?
To take pictures of mass transit, basically.
Oh, like Amtrak.
Yeah, because
it's federal.
Then I'm good. We only see coal.
Coal.
Well, that's still.
Move that coal.
Okay,
if a cop is mad enough, they can still get you in on that. But
that's a stupid ticket right there. That's not.
They don't like you.
Well, because you could be planning sabotage. I don't know.
Sabotage on a GO train, really? Why would you want to do that to Canadians?
I thought you said coal.
No, on a GO train.
Oh, I thought you said a coal train.
Why would you do that to the Canadians?
Canadians
aren't all bad.
We've already ruined the Canadians.
Some bad.
We already killed
Alright, now I lost half Canadian.
No, we lost the rest of them.
They've been gone.
Hockey stinks.
Alright,
they're the rest
last
It stinks. No, they never watched the show. They went back in time and never watched it.
Wow.
But
I thought we were broadcasting to the 20th century.
So they didn't have to go back in time.
Okay, so our discussion topic that was proposed by, who was it, O'Gillies?
It was. I have to go back a couple of videos because I got distracted.
Oh, jeez.
Just so the viewers know, if they have a discussion topic for us, you can always post them and we'll, no promises that we'll actually cover it.
Train
we won't.
We will at some point.
Whatever O'Gillies just said, like Train Lego Fan 1000 or something like that.
Here, I'll say it again. Train Lego Lover 1211.
Okay.
I wonder if he actually does Lego trains.
Well, yeah, maybe.
If it's like, I like potatoes, covered that.
Our discussion topic was the Dreyfus versus the Daylight. What are our opinions on the two things? And I mean, frankly, I personally prefer the Dreyfus Hudson, but
East Coast.
It's only for the looks, because in almost all fields, technically, the Daylight, the GS4s beat it out completely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
you're saying we discussed this earlier to get all the research done and stuff. Basically, the reasons that were one of the reasons anyway that it beats it is the Dreyfus doesn't have enough torque to start itself
because it only has 3 sets of driving wheels,
right?
As opposed,
it just doesn't.
And thus it has, because of the shorter engine, it has reduced fire grade area and all that. But yeah, no, it's
smaller driver wheels by 1
inch.
By
1 inch.
Way to one up them, SP. Way to be that guy.
They are that guy. I wonder how that compares to like the Niagaras.
That's 4 feet 8 inches as opposed to 4 feet 8.5.
The Niagaras are a conundrum.
We'd have to look that up later. I don't feel like putting in the effort for it right now. But
next week.
Let's put in
on the Terminus.
Hold on, I'm gonna edit this to Dreyfus versus Daylight versus
Niagara.
Versus Hexaplex.
versus X2.
Versus Hexaplex.
Versus Steam Turbine versus.
Oh jeez. Steam turbines were a complete.
They weren't though.
The steam turbines.
Well, the fact of the matter was the technology wasn't a complete Fontaine, but the practicality of it was.
TJ, add versus.
We have to discuss that now. The Fontaine fiasco.
No. Save that for next time.
Next week on the Terminus.
Next week, that TJ has a woodblock carving of the Fontaine fiasco.
Well, what do we need to say now? You just said the whole thing.
I know, we'll say it again, though. We can tell the story behind that. And what the Fontaine fiasco is.
Okay.
People are going to look it up now. We're going to have to...
Doesn't matter, we can actually talk about it next week. Oh. Viewers just forget the last, 30 seconds or minute of conversation.
You remember nothing!
Alright, so moving on to model...
Get one of those
fiasco bits.
Wipe things from,
moving on to model railroad.
Yes. Ellis.
The one good
And TJ.
story that I can remember from last week was the 19th Century Limited, which was... No, I swear that was on the podcast last week.
No,
Or
it
last
might
time.
have we might have touched upon it.
Okay, yeah.
I think you did actually. I think you did talk about it.
because it was 2 weeks ago then. So I don't.
And then we rebuilt it.
Yeah, we did rebuild it.
Long ago in a
Also, there
galaxy.
was-
We have the technology. We can rebuild
There
it.
was the whole Rolling Stock Committee meeting, actually, where Don got very upset.
Who's John?
Don. He couldn't.
Don.
We
Oh yeah, we should tell him about that.
the
Dawn
the
incident.
Rolling Stock Committee meeting deemed that he couldn't have his New Haven RS3s on the layout because they were not 1985. And
Why are they not 1985? They're RS3s.
yeah, but New Haven didn't exist.
Oh, and you can have your New Haven 260.
I
wait,
don't,
yours
I
isn't
don't
New
have a New
Haven,
Haven.
it's Boston.
260. It's Boston and Maine. And also, no,
Good
I can't.
job,
I was one of
Michael.
those in violation as well.
Oh,
A
great.
what?
Wait, does that mean the little engine that can't has to die?
No, it's still there. I literally didn't do
So
anything
they
about it.
just ruled it illegal, but you don't have to move it.
It was already ruled
No, it's
illegal.
only for operating sessions.
Yeah,
Oh, it's only illegal for operating sessions.
well, no, it's been illegal the whole
I
time,
see
but
how it is.
I'm
I feel like-
technically not allowed to leave it where it is, but I just say that the diesel that occupies that siding is sympathetic to steam engines, and that's why it's allowed to stay.
It's sympathetic. it's a Boco.
It's like being part of the French Resistance or the French Underground during World War II, except without the surrendering part.
Except with thank you, France. And there go all the French viewers.
Weren't they already gone?
Yeah, they're
I don't
already
know.
gone for their.
Oh yeah, you
for our comment
trashed them
about the
earlier
two
with
wide
their fat
frames.
trains. Trains being too fat.
Way to go, Alex.
Trains
Go
be
with
too
the facts.
Well, if they missed that, then they're gone now.
What's funny is they're not. It wasn't allowed during operating sessions anyways. Yet I still used it last operating session.
I was gonna say you use it quite a bit for it to be illegal. Like,
Well,
our
no. I
layout,
mean, you can.
you have to have our layout. In order to even get a piece of rolling stock on the layout, it doesn't even really. Before you even clear the practicality test, it needs steel wheels, KD number 5 metal magnetic couplers at the correct NMR8 height. The wheels have to pass the specific gauge test. It has to be weighted
Okay,
to the correct
okay,
weight of a
Marty,
car of
yes.
that time period.
Has passed all the NMRA tests.
It's not NMRA though. It's psychotic.
Well, I mean, frankly,
Wait.
there's stuff in our rules to say all that mostly, or at least most of it, but nobody cares. Frankly,
Ellis, sorry to interrupt, but your email is ellistrain@gmail.
yes,
Don't say it.
Okay.
Ellis likes trains at gmail.com.
no. I frankly don't
say
care if it's out there. It's probably.
What do you think some
posted
crazed
somewhere
fans would be
anyways.
like? Ellis.
It's probably somewhere
Honestly,
anyways.
if you had placed fans, I wouldn't mind.
Can we
I
move
hope
Oh my.
people actually like me.
This is
All right,
physics.
no, but
Especially
The,
if they're female.
the whole thing with I did use it last operating session, not even just at random. Just
what?
during the last operating session, I was yardmaster at one of the major towns, and I said, this would be easier with 2 switchers, and so I took that one out of the engine house and drove it over there.
Wow. To join TJ in his shay.
And well, and
If Ray had that Shay when we were doing that, I would have used it as a switcher.
I hid it under a piece of paper until the operating session started, so no one could tell me to put it away. Because if they had told me to put it away during the operating session, it would have involved me driving it back to the engine house.
Because you can't pick it up during an operating session.
Yeah,
Great job.
it would have been
Wait,
basically.
then what do you do if something derails? Do you have to bring
Well,
a
no,
wrecker?
you can fix it if something derails, but there
Okay.
are
I was
actually
gonna say,
things.
do you have to call for? Do you have to call for a wrecker and then have a radio-controlled motorized wrecker to put everything back on
As
the track?
cool as
That
that
would be insanely awesome, but no.
I know I need to do
As-
that now. Challenge
As
accepted.
cool as that would be, there are way too many derailments on our layout for that to be practical at all.
We don't have derailments. We have power failures a lot.
Oh, yeah, we have that
Electricity
too.
tends to be really spotty.
But moving on to
Our-
the
when
Denver
we
and
have
New
the
Orleans.
trains, we
Oh,
don't have any operating sessions because we don't have one solid layout. It's just a bunch of modules that we all bring to railroad meets, to train meets, and our railroading shows, whatever. And half the time, since they're all different modules wired differently, it'll take I want to say 3 hours at least And I'm assuming you've all heard of Digitrax DCC, right?
See.
Yes. We have to
Yeah.
use Digitrax.
So do we. And it
I
takes
know.
like 3 hours to get it set up because we have 2 DC tracks we have 2 DCC tracks and 1 DC, and it takes like 3 hours to get both of those set up because it's
Don't
so it's
get
really,
me started.
it's a
You want complicated setup? Our layout is holy gee, don't even get me started on that. That's for a later date, perhaps.
Move on.
next
Okay.
episode on the
Next week on the Terminus. We're out to 3 things for next week, by the way. Okay, so I have a story from my club that is, I've called it How Ironic, because...
Oh, I thought you wrote How Ironic because of New Orleans have now running Fireball.
Oh my.
No, this story is just called How Ironic because well, you'll see what it is. So basically, over the past couple of weeks, we've been doing some weathering courses, and we're prepping for our first real official operating session, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Because honestly, unlike the Providence and Northern, you guys take operating and stuff very seriously, while we tend to do a lot more improvement on the layout. We don't usually have organized running sessions.
Toast.
And we're actually going to have our first one that runs on a schedule with car cards and stuff in the next month or so.
Well, yeah,
And in
car
order
cards.
to prep for that, we're getting all of the engines on the layout and making sure they're up to snuff.
Uh-oh.
So, shut up. We have the roundhouse, and there's 2 ready tracks beside the roundhouse. Well, there's 3 actually. On the first track is my engine, and my engine passed the inspection with, I needed to get a new spring on the coupler, I think. On the second ready track is a group of Alcos, which needed programming, and those took hours to start up and get going.
Why?
And on the third track is a big boy that just recently got weathered and has sat there forever. It hasn't run in a couple years.
Oh, geez.
So they started running it around just to make sure that it could still manage the grades and it could still run without ripping itself apart. And so it's running up and down the mountains and stuff. I, meanwhile, am up in the switch tower, and this is not my fault. We're kind of, everybody's looking around at switches. Everybody's kind of looking at, what's going on and everything. And all of a sudden we hear a derailment. Nobody's paying attention to the big boy. We just hear a derailment. Same place where the Coltrane accident
Oh,
occurred,
no.
actually.
Oh, God.
You're the same place.
Oh god.
It's like deep in the bowels of the benchwork where all the hidden tracks like fly over each other and do all these dips and loops
we don't
and
actually
stuff.
have any hidden tracks, but
We have too many hidden tracks to count. We probably have more hidden trackage than showing trackage.
that's funny.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And also terrible.
Yes, it is terrible. But basically, so we all hear this derailment. We're all running. We're trying to figure out what has happened.
Uh-oh.
And we can't find it in any of the hidden track areas. So we go back over to the charter board and stuff to see where the heck the thing was lined for in the first place.
Uh-oh.
And we follow it out of Denver, through the staging yard, up the mountain, around the helix and stuff, and it gets to Parker, and that's where we lost the signal. And
Oh,
Parker on our layout is a small town at the very top of the mountain where we have standard gauge interchange with narrow gauge, and we have dual gauge trackage and stuff.
Cool.
GG.
So as, we're following it to Parker, and we can't see it in Parker. It didn't just get lined to a sighting or anything. We're looking at it, and then we discover a switches set. So it went off of the standard gauge track and onto the dual gauge track,
Oh god.
and went down the dual gauge main line until
no.
the standard gauge ended, and derailed on narrow gauge trackage. And since it had it has that new Soundtracks product in it, it's like the current keeper. The engine can keep running for like 10 seconds after it's
Oh
lost
god,
track power.
TJ and I have a
We
story
found
about this.
We found it derailed at a coal mine at the very end of
Oh,
the narrow
God.
gauge main line, just on this little abandoned narrow gauge spur. And I'm like, how ironic. The biggest locomotive in the world is on the smallest piece of trackage at the layout in terms of gauge and in length. So that's my story. How ironic. How we managed to make a narrow gauge big boy.
Great. Well, it's not like you made a narrow
Give
gauge big
somebody
boy.
out there an idea.
Good wait.
Oh, jeez.
The hexaplex.
The hexaplex.
Okay, can we move on to my railroading now?
No.
Yes, Milky.
I don't have that much to say. Nothing new happened. I still hope to build track. Yeah,
Beautiful.
not much happened.
I have 2 Providence Northern stories actually tying into what you just said, and they're both pretty succinct.
Succinct.
You know how you said you just lost the engine, you didn't know where it went?
Think, motherfucker.
Well, one of the guys at the club, Ray Schofield, and I were testing out engines for an operating session, and we had an A unit and a B unit, or a PA, and its B unit that weren't working well together. So we unconsisted them, and then all of a sudden the A unit just takes off on its own.
Okay.
It leaves the staging yard, goes out onto the main line, and then takes this random switch that brings it behind the panel for the reverse loop. And I knew that on the other side of the wall, where the reverse loop met more track and you could see the switch, that switch was lined against it. So we go around to see it, and there's no engine. You think it would have shorted at the switch. And then we look all around. We can't find it. and then later, one of the guys who's staging this town, which is way off, St. Johnsbury, Pablo Montaigne, goes, "Hey, I found your engine. It's in the siding here." And it had somehow not only went through a bunch of switches that were lined against it, it took a diverging route from the one that was set.
How on earth does it do that?
I don't
The
know.
thing of like hands that it reaches out in front of it and like goes, okay, let's just lift that up.
But
there we go.
But it went
Suddenly Canadian.
it diverged from the main line against a switch and went into a depot.
Like into a depot?
Yes. There was
Like into a depot siding or into a depot?
into a depot siding and then into a depot.
Damn it.
Oh gosh.
Oh, can I tell the story about
Oh yeah!
on how I had to get that engine off of the turntable?
Oh god, no,
Oh,
no,
God.
because you're not the one who got the engine off of the turntable. I did. You floored it backwards into the back of the engine house.
No, but I was trying to get it on the turntable. Now we have to tell the story.
Great, now I have another story.
No,
We're
great.
gonna run out of stories.
Ooh, Chesterton West, Indiana. If anybody's watching that, gates are going down.
Oh, not watching that. You know,
We'll visit Chesterton, Indiana next
I'm gonna
week,
write
or any of the
down.
coming
I'm gonna
weeks.
write down these two things. I'm gonna write down these two things so that we can move on because we've got way too many stories and 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Milky.
Milky
do you have anything
already
new?
had his nothing to say. Now we can move on to V
On
scale.
Okay.
Wybold, are you ready to announce
What about me?
your?
I
Wait, no, I have
Say.
something for live Steam.
Oh, you do?
I have
Okay.
something for O scale.
Well, Milky went. Oh yeah, I forgot. Milky's here, and then he's there, and then he's underneath again. I forgot.
Amtrak, I think.
No,
Oh god, that's loud.
Yes.
Turn it down.
my eye.
All right,
My
continue going. people.
Ellis, I have something to say for model railroading.
So this week
We're
in
not
O
Say it.
scale.
We only have like 5
We're
minutes
not at
left.
the end of model railroading yet. Just keep going.
So this week in
Yeah,
O scale, I
8 feet.
got operating conditions back up to suitable, and my 080 can fit on the runaround track with everything else, and I haven't even
That's good.
completed the track yet.
That's good.
Back to everyone else.
Okay. So for live Steam railroading, I'll try to keep this short and dandy. I basically had the big summer meet and potluck lunch of our live Steam club this past weekend. I must say it was a lot of fun. If the guys by any off chance are ever listening to this, or if you know anybody from the Rocky Mountain Rails, let them know that their hospitality is much appreciated. We got to drive around a train for a while. I didn't derail it this time. I didn't derail it. My nickname is actually Old Derail, which
Right.
I think is starting to go away. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. It's not funny. But basically,
The
just thank you to
derail.
everybody at Rocky Mountain Rails. Just cool, lots of cool stuff that happened up there. We did have a couple live steamers actually go up. We had an Invicta live steam locomotive for anybody that knows what those are.
I do.
An Atlantic with a full wake of passenger coaches, and also an American that never actually got off of the turntable.
Yeah.
Well, that's a
Why
shame.
not?
I don't know why. I don't know why it never steamed up, but it was in the steaming bays and on the turntable. But I don't know if they ever got the steam up to get it going. So V scale.
V scale. All right. Well, are you ready to say your thing about Rails of War or not yet?
I will say it with. I'll say it and I'll phrase it to be a little bit ginger.
Okay. Good luck.
So, Okay, so basically on Rails of War, we've discussed over the past couple weeks what it is, and for Rails of War recently, I've actually been doing some modeling work for the mod, some modeling
Yeah, I
and
know, we're
coding.
almost done.
Some modeling and coding work for the mod. I recently made a narrow gauge caboose that probably won't see it anytime soon. It'll probably be included in the next few updates. He might get around to getting it updated here pretty quickly. As of now, my position is not really known and or guaranteed. They've said that they really liked the model. They said I could be of great service to them in helping with American stock.
Great service.
But as of now, the mod code is not up to snuff really. So, they're not really sure where to go from here. They will
Where
let
did
me
this
know.
saying
But
up to snuff come from?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll work it later. Figure it out later.
Basically, I might have a position with Rails of War. I have created a couple things for their content, and just due to some limitations, my position is not currently known, but it sounds like they will bring me onto the mod team eventually.
Sweet.
Or I can hope. Yeah.
Make Elk open the door.
So, Ellis, tomorrow's Valen Anaconda.
Fixing very terrible bugs with TRS 2006 and finding the autosave. That's basically all that's happened this week.
Yeah.
I have done nothing. Milky.
So I started work on my third quad set for Train's Job.
Another
the
one.
Southwest Railroad. Yeah, it's just an industrial relative. It's inspired when me and Eagles were having a conversation, and if I said Southwest...
I know, we're on the last thing. We're going as fast as we can.
And the name just
TJ's
stuck,
behind
so-
schedule.
Yep.
TJ, you could actually go if you need to, because you're not
Yeah,
included.
we don't have anything else.
Yeah,
Alright,
and
well
that's
then
pretty much
I'll
all
just
I did.
outro myself.
See ya, TJ.
Bye, TJ.
Goodbye.
Hey, a freight train's coming through on this
Good boy.
rail cam.
Oh, come on. I just exited out.
Bye, TJ.
Bye.
Okay, can I really say something on the route I'm going to work on, or are we out of time?
At the end. Just when Milky's done with what he's saying.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm making a new loop. That's about it.
Well, good luck with that,
Alright.
Bible. Milky. Words.
Milky.
I almost
Yeah,
went through
yeah,
everyone
but,
here. Alright,
Before you
so,
go.
Achilles, you have something to add in this regard.
I am going to start, as soon as I get home from Vegas, I'm going to be starting
Vegas.
work on the Castle Rock Railroad from Railworks 2 and above into Trains 12.
Good luck.
Why would you... Okay. I don't know. My one critique of the Castle Rock Railroad and Railworks, because for anybody that doesn't know,
I don't.
the so-called Castle Rock Railroad in that Railworks route literally runs like a mile from my house. It is completely fictitious. It is not. It's not real. It's not really anything like the prototype. So, I don't
So
know.
you're gonna say
Maybe try and beat out Railworks. Better challenge. Beat Railworks at making a more realistic rendition of the route, which you can use because
I'll do
Trains
that, but-
allows to create. Trains has better capability for creating routes, route subdivisions like that, and they're better than Railworks at that. So maybe create a more faithful rendition of it. And on that bombshell,
John,
We are signing off. It is the end of the episode. The train is terminating.
hashtag the dollar pass route for Train's Job.
Okay,
That'll be my
that'd be pretty cool.
project.
that would be cool.
Train's new
Alright.
new age, new era.
Yeah.
Train's a new era.
Whatever. I'm still not getting it.
Oh,
Ha!
everybody post comments. Tell us to get Train's a new era.
But I already have one Train's game I don't play,
Well,
my God.
Train's 12 sucks.
and there goes all our Train's 12 people.
Okay, we've just lost Milky, O'Jellies, and TJ. Great.
all in one foul swoop.
Alright,
And
well,
again, there's another bombshell.
Stop
Okay.
bombshelling. I'm watching this freight
Okay.
roll by slowly. It looks like Autorex.
Cool.
Alright, well,
Alright.
but that's that. I'm trying to remember the other story I'd come up with. Well, I'm just gonna have to talk to you so you jog my memory. But, we'll be back with more stuff in 2 weeks' time on the
And more randomness.
on the Terminus number 4 for June 27th. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Or the podcast, rather.
Okay, Penguin out.
Milky Penguin say goodbye. I won't say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Agility say goodbye.
Morgan Freeman is now
Happy
out.
trails to you.
Really? Really?
Yes, really.
TJ already said goodbye, and that's it. Choo choo.